Hey yo, this is Jay from the Wild Swim Store and welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to go through part 1 of our top 10 tips for a triathlon swim. This video is going to be the top 5. If you want to see the second part, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. But now it's time to get into it. Tip number 1 for a triathlon swim is a mistake that I've made on a couple of occasions, and I haven't paid attention to what the swim course looks like. Do familiarize yourself with how many buoys you have to go up, where you need to turn, and then where you need to come back. This will really help you because many races nowadays are a staggered start, and you may find yourself swimming in between a group and you don't want to overshoot the buoy that you need to turn at. So do spend some time looking at the pre-race material to familiarize yourself with the course. Tip number 2 is linked to tip number 1, and that is set up your watch. On most GPS watches out there, you can set up your watch to automatically buzz every time you hit a certain distance. This will just help you gauge where you are in your race and you kind of know how far you have to go. What I would do is, if you're swimming anything up to a 2K swim, I would set it for around every 500 meters. If you're doing something like a full Ironman and you're doing just under a 4K swim, I would set it to buzz every 1K. If you set them to buzz too often, I just lose track of how many there's been. So setting it to buzz 4 times during your distance, I find is more manageable. Tip number 3 is don't try anything new on race day. Make sure you've practiced everything going into the race. That includes making sure you're wearing the wetsuit you are going to be racing in. Each wetsuit has different characteristics. This Spook from Yonder, it's a great price point and it has incredible flexibility in the arms. If you do have something that isn't as flexible, you want to get used to swimming in it because otherwise it could put extra strain on your shoulders and you don't want to have to worry about that during the race that you've trained so hard for. Tip number 4 is make sure you lube up. For the swim, you want to lube up around your neck. The constant turning of your head means you can get a nasty rash around your neck. I would also lube up under your arms here. I often get it rubbing a little bit here on a long race. If you're also doing a triathlon, you can use this lube on other areas of your body. I would use it where you would get saddle sores. Maybe you want to keep one especially for that. And generally around your chest for when you get onto the run to help stop that horrible nipple rub. You could even keep one in transition to apply before you start each stage of the race. And tip number 5 is at each triathlon, you would get a race specific hat. Now each swim hat is a different thickness. You may have your goggles set to fit perfectly with your normal training hat, but when you switch to a different thickness, in my experience, then sometimes my goggles start to leak. So use the time before the race to get to warm up to double check that your goggles do not leak with the race specific hat. So there you go. That is part 1 of my top 10 tips for a triathlon swim. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for part number 2 coming later this week.